Welcome to Auntie K's Tarot, your favorite radical queer indigenous auntie, bringing you tarot every day. Hello everyone and welcome to Auntie K's Tarot. So I made a video earlier today which was a chat and cards with Auntie K for March 17th, 2025, and I will put this in the same playlist category. But in the comments, I promise, yes, I'll come back. I will talk about the fact that this is how people feel. Eight of Swords, trapped, and you want a little bit more help than get out there and decolonize. True, real. Let's talk about it. I'm going to break things into a few sections of advice. Okay. Sorry, I'm old. You're going to have to deal with the computer needing to be a focus because I wrote it in notes, so I can't make the print bigger. But you know, you can check out my super cute chihuahua while I read. All right, Eight of Swords. The people are feeling trapped. Does that make it better? I feel a responsibility to actually discuss this beyond an open-ended go decolonize. First, you need to build your rebellion knowledge and rebellion muscles. Go read or listen to various perspectives on rebellion, not just Marx. Actually, make your first 3 sources BIPOC sources. You can read Marx, but start with Fanon, Coulthard, Marcos. Search online for mutual aid groups, lectures, anarchist or communist book clubs. Go do community work. Start or join a potluck. These are the things that are the heart and brain of revolutionary behavior. What helps you learn, understand, and also having people to discuss that with. Capitalism depends on individuality. So if you think you can do this alone, you're part of the problem. Go learn how to people, even if it's uncomfortable. Find the people like you, and that will help, okay? Go learn how to people, even if it's uncomfortable. It is anti-capitalist to have friends. It is anti-capitalist to go hang out with your friends, even when you'd rather do nothing and sit by yourself at home. That's not always self-care. Sometimes that's individualism and capitalism. Community care includes getting off your ass and doing something because your friend needs you to emotionally. People joining together are the antidote to capitalism. You can do anything if you have people behind you cheering you on, promising to care for your family even if you get jailed. Alone, all you can do is vote and shop and hope to survive the best you can. Your heart is empty, so who cares? The other part is your revolutionary muscles. When you see flags, rip them down, throw them out. Nationalism to a settler state or empire does not help. Everyone understands right-wing nationalism is a problem. Neoliberal nationalism is also a problem. There are different nationalisms. Indigenous nationalisms are something completely different and not something that's actually relevant to the conversation here kind of at the moment. But you should understand the differences. Canadians and, there's probably some other people feeling like pushback from Americanization and the behavior of Trump right now and are thinking, well, now I'm going to be nationalist for my country or empire. Like, that's not okay. It's not okay. The rest are still bad, even when the U.S. is worse. Okay. So tear down those flags. Get rid of nationalism. It doesn't help. Go do some graffiti. Deface monuments, banks, trains, bridges, government buildings, billboards, and even just regular street signs. Go deface them. Steal some food if you need it. If you don't need it, steal it and give it away. Go be Robin Hood. Go join a protest. Dress all in black, mask up, and make capitalism scared. Those bread recipes and from scratch baking you did in the pandemic, brush those skills off now and go see how you can make them at a reduced price and basic ingredients. Ones that pack a punch, are full of calories. Please include a good cake and cookie recipe. You need sugar and happiness in life. Feed these cookies to the unhoused. Hand out soup cups in front of an upscale restaurant. Drop a banner on a highway overpass. None of this will bring down racism, oppression, and capitalism and fascism on its own. But it will build your revolutionary muscles, and it will push your own personal Overton window and get you ready to believe you can do something more. Also, it encourages others, right? Like, we're all encouraged when we see something more radical than we're willing to do ourselves. And so when you push yourself to do something a little bit more radical than you would have done yesterday, and it encourages other people and yourself to do a little bit more, all right? All revolutions start with multiple lone wolf actions, multiple cells of provocateurs. I'm going to have said that wrong, I know it. And multiple resistance groups organizing protests until they all come together. But here in the West, especially North America, our revolutionary muscles have atrophied. Voting is not change. A politician with a sign is not change. Peaceful protests with permits are not change. Go work out those muscles by breaking some rules. Because until you break those rules, you are going to believe that if it's a rule, it has power and you should follow it. So break some rules. Next, spiritual muscles. Do some spell work. Curse the patriarchy, capitalism, colonialism, tech bros, billionaires, cops, ICE agents, immigration agents in the other countries, because the U.S. isn't the only one deporting people and being assholes in that way. Curse them. Curse them with lost keys and lost wallets. Mess with their ability to give a clear speech if it's part of the oligarchy. Go do something. Say blessings of protection on the marginalized. Books like Queering Your Craft. There's going to be other books. This is one I have that has spells to protect community from legislative harm. It's a bit late for that. But spells to strengthen community bond and collective love and power. Spells to strengthen ourselves for the fight, right? Hexes. Hex for cruelty and power. Hexing white supremacist patriarchy. So books like this are useful. Poetry is spellcasting. Blend your things to help get your movement out there. Spell work, memory, and community. What if we ask, what do we give to the other instead of what do we take? How and what do we share? Some of that can be applied to everything I just said. That's great. Talking and sharing is about labor. Years of tending, cleaning, feeding, arranging, praying, constructing, listening, lifting, heavy moving for elders, for communities, for shrines, for spirits, for myself. Oh man, do I need to keep... Memory tries to create themes and narratives to string together, experiences to form a sense of continuity. Talk to people who have already done the things you want to do. There is a string of continuity. revolutionary acts and ideas have been going on where you live for decades before you decided to think about it, for centuries before you were born. There is a memory and a continuity to go out there and find. Go out there and find those stories. Those stories will teach you about what you need to do next, and they will give you that motivation and that inspiration to move forward. All right. The Eight of Swords. What does it say in 78 Acts of Liberation? Lane Smith. What does it say for the Eight of Swords? Eight of Swords, affirm our truth. In the Eight of Swords, we usually see someone who isn't able to see an escape route that is visible to us. So they believe they are trapped in a truly impossible situation. In this card, a core belief needs to shift in order to realize that the impossible is within reach. In May of 1968 in Paris, students occupied universities to protest capitalism, consumerism, patriarchy, and imperialism. When they were met with brutal police repression, trade unions got involved, participating in nationwide wildcat solidarity strikes. The uprising of May 1968 was in a lot of ways a precursor to social media political engagement today. It made use of memes in the form of slogans, protesters, graffiti songs, and films, and it was an expression of youthful dissatisfaction with institution and experts. One of the slogans was, "Be realistic, demand the impossible." I'm going to go off from here and say this. I like, be realistic, dream, demand the impossible. And also looking back at other moments and movements. And so earlier we talked about reading books, BIPOC folks, and I'm actually going to give you some white folks you can read about too. Okay, so some white revolutionaries who I think you can look up would be the White Rose movement, which is where anti-fascism and the White Rose you often see in anarchy come from. And it was the White Rose opposition movement during the Holocaust in Germany. And you can read about Sophie Scholl and Hans Scholl and the people they worked with in the White Rose and the sacrifice they made, because it's going to take a lot of muscles that you haven't exercised that need to be exercised. So exercise them with all these tools, all these ideas, all these suggestions, a little bit from each section, and that is going to help you feel like you don't need to be stuck and you have a place to start moving forward. Okay, so I feel like I just named off some revolutionary writers to read and then, gave you full books when we were talking about what you can do in your spiritual practice. So I grabbed some books off the shelf quickly. Anarcho-Indigenism, Conversations on Land and Freedom. This is a book I got pretty recently. Negros with Guns by Robert F. Williams. Also highly recommend. Wasáse by Taiaiake Alfred. And Islam and Anarchism by Mohamed Abdou. So there is some revolutionary books to exercise some of your muscles with also.